everyone, welcome back to Hands and Feet Homestead. My name's Rebecca and today I am out here with my soft neck garlic that's been curing here. It's been a little over 2 weeks now. We harvested out in the garden a few weeks ago and I've been having it out here. I just have it on a tray here, rack. It has lots of good airflow and it's just been sitting on my back porch here that gets no direct sunlight on it for, like I said, 2 weeks. So they are all nice and dry. And the thing with soft neck garlic is that you are able to braid them. And so after they're done curing, you can braid them and then hang them up in your pantry and they'll be ready to use, and you just clip off a bulb every time you want to use it. So today I'm going to go ahead and get these braided. I'm so excited. I actually had a good harvest on soft neck garlic this year. I've always wanted to grow soft neck garlic for a few reasons. One being that it lasts longer in storage than your hard neck varieties. So I'll go through and use up all my hard neck when I get those harvested. And then when those are done, then I'll switch over to my soft neck, because these can last 10 months or even a little longer if you cure them properly. And the other reason is that it's a soft neck garlic, so it has a soft neck like the name, so you can actually braid it. With the hard neck varieties, you can't really braid it, so I usually just get those cleaned up and put them in a basket for storage. So today I'm going to go ahead and get those braided. One of the benefits of doing the hard neck type of garlic, which we have to still harvest, those will grow that scape, the garlic scape. You usually don't find those in normal like grocery stores. It's kind of like a special item that you might find at a farmer's market or something. But there's so many great things to do with those. I've made a video in the past of how to make garlic scape pesto, which turned out really great. I'll link that below if you want to check out that video. But another thing that I'm trying this year is making fermented garlic scape. So I just chopped them up and then I put them in a fermenting jar. And they're about on day 4 right now. I just tried them and they are so good. The spiciness is a little bit less. It's not quite as pungent because they are super spicy, but it has just an amazing garlicky flavor. The spice is a little bit reduced. Even my daughter, 5-year-old daughter, was eating them and she said she liked them, which I was kind of surprised because they are still a little spicy, but super good. But I'm going to let them go for a week. So I'm going to let them sit back in there for 3 more days and just ferment a little bit longer. And then I will end up putting them in the fridge. So I'll walk you through how we did that too, so that you can try that for your garlic scape harvest. I'm starting by cutting off the little flowering end. That's the tip of the garlic scape where the flower would open up if you would let it stay on the plant, and that can get a little bit stringy and a little bit tough, so I recommend chopping that part off. I did end up using it and putting it into my blender to make my garlic scape pesto recipe with it because I just didn't want to waste it, but it was a little bit stringy, so if you make the pesto, I do recommend using the regular part of the scape and not the flowering end in it. But here I'm just continuing to chop up my garlic scapes. You can leave them whole or chop them up. It's totally up to you. So for those of you who are not familiar with lacto-fermentation, it is a way to preserve your food. It has been around forever. It has existed way before canning was a thing, and it is so wonderful. It's one of my favorite ways to preserve things because of its simplicity and the added health benefits. One of the greatest things about it is that it enhances the health benefits of your vegetable. It enhances the minerals and vitamin content of it. It also, with the lacto-fermentation process, you are adding probiotics into it as well. So it is just so wonderful for your gut health and just a great thing to add to your diet. So after you're done filling your jar with your scapes, then I went ahead and just added in a couple grape leaves that I had from my garden. These help retain the crispness of your vegetable that you're fermenting because of the tannins in the leaves. You could also get the same effect with bay leaves or even oak leaves. This is not a required step in the process, but if you had them, I recommend adding them in, but no worries, you can leave them out if you don't. Then you're going to want to make your brine solution, which is a ratio of 2 tablespoons of salt to 4 cups of water. I use a Redmond's real salt. You can use any type of sea salt, a good sea salt. And you're going to go ahead and just shake that up to get it really well incorporated. And then you just pour it over your vegetables and make sure they are completely submerged. Then you're going to want to add your fermenting weight, if you have one, into the jar. There are other ways to get around using one of these. You could use cabbage leaves to keep everything under, or more grape leaves, but I find that these weights are really nice to have. And then I also have the fermenting lid. These are the mason top fermenting lids, and I really like them. Secure it with a normal mason jar ring. Let it sit out at room temperature for 3 to 7 days. And then when you are done, you will just put a normal lid back onto the jar and place it in your refrigerator, and it'll stay good for up to a year. And that's about it. That's all there is to it. It is super simple, and I really hope you give this a try. So before I braid them, I'm gonna get them cleaned up a little bit. When you harvest them and then you set them out to cure, you don't want to take all the dirt off or anything like that yet. Same with the hardneck variety, you don't want to do that. So you just harvest it and let the dirt stay on there and cure for, it really depends how long. I've had mine out, like I said, for like 2 weeks, but I live in a very dry climate. We don't have a lot of humidity. It's very dry and it gets really hot. It's been in the 90s. I don't put it in direct sunlight. I have it on a very sheltered back porch here. So you know they're done when everything is completely dry, the roots, and this is all dry. I've heard that if you let it go too long, then the stems might break when you're trying to braid it. So, but it should be about good right now. So if you live in a cooler climate or more humid environment, it might take you a little bit longer than that. This is what I always do. I have a little brush I have that I use normally to brush off the dirt, but you don't really need that. I can't get to it right now. It's in the room where my little baby is napping, so I'm not going to wake her up, but you just kind of knock all the dirt off of it. You can take off a little bit of that. So yeah, just get it all cleaned up, just knock all the dirt off, and then you can take some scissors and just cut the roots like that and just cut them off. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. I'll get all these prepped and ready, and then we'll go ahead and start the braid. It's okay if you take like a layer or two of the skin off. That's not going to hurt anything. And go ahead and trim it. As I said, this is the same process I do for storing my curing and then storing my hardneck garlic, which last year it lasted a really long time. Like I said, it usually doesn't last in storage quite as long, but I was still, let's see, so I harvested it in July last year, and then I was still having fresh garlic in February. So yeah, it was like 7 months or so for the hardneck. It was really good. But I am excited to still have the soft neck here as well. Some people say to cure it inside your house or in your basement, but from what I've read, the best, you want it around 80 degrees actually. So outside here, covered out of direct sun is perfect with our dry climate. We only have maybe 30% humidity, 20% or something for that. And then for storing, once you get them all ready for storage, it's best to keep them in a very dark, cool environment. They say 50 degrees is what would be ideal. I can't always make that happen, but cool and just out of sunlight as much as possible in a dark place, and that'll be good. Now I actually do have more soft neck garlic I still need to harvest out in the garden. This is actually the garlic that I grew in my greenhouse this year. So this was out in our greenhouse, and I planted it in there because in the past I have had trouble with soft neck garlic growing out in the normal garden in the ground, because soft neck garlic is not as hardy, so it can't withstand as cold of temperatures over winter. Because you plant your garlic bulbs out in the fall and let it sit over winter, and if it gets too cold, soft neck garlic just won't make it. So hard neck varieties are the way to go if you're in a very cold climate. We do get cold, but not like, it's usually not, you know, crazy negative. We do have our negative temperatures for sure, but only for a very short time. So as I said, planting it in the ground in my garden in the past did not work out so well, so I have put it in my greenhouse, and they all came up and they were all doing good in there. But I also had some extra bulbs this year, or last fall, and I just experimented. I just put some in my raised bed that I had in the garden just to see what would happen, and those all came up. So those are a little bit behind where these ones are. That's why I had harvested these first. But I was so happy to see that those came up. Now, it might be because they were in a raised bed, and so it just, maybe that was a difference between that and planting them directly in the ground in the past, or we just didn't have quite as cold temperatures over winter. I'm not really sure what the reason is, but it is good to know that it did come up. So we'll see. I might just plant them out in a raised bed this year. Okay, I got all of my garlic cleaned up and trimmed, and now I'm gonna start braiding them. So you're gonna need some twine, and I'm gonna cut 2 pieces, one to start and one to finish it off. I'll just get that ready. So you're gonna take your 3 bigger bulbs, some of your biggest ones, and I'm gonna take 2 like that and make a little cross like that, like a little X. And then the 3rd one, just lay up on the middle like that. That. Then take your twine and you're just gonna tie that off. And I'll just knot it there. That. Okay? And then you can go ahead and trim those tails off. So the new head you're putting down, you have the stem coming along the center, like that. And then we're gonna put this over like that to the middle, just like a normal braid. Okay, and then we're gonna do the next bulb to the left. Have that stem be in the center, again like that. And then bring that over. Okay, I've gotten to my last one here. I'm adding on. And then I'm just going to continue to braid the stems a little ways. So I just finished braiding it up a little higher, and then I'm going to bend it down on itself like that to make a little loop where we can hang it. And then I'm going to take my other piece of twine and just tie that here to hold that in place. trim that. There you have it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it's all done. Here's the braid. Looks so pretty. And you can see the back is all nice and braided. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that hung up inside in my dark pantry. And yeah, I think that's all for this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you got something out of it. Remember to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and we will see you on the next video. Take care and God bless.